Good morning from San Francisco. This time. Yesterday we were in Oakland, California. Today we're in San Francisco, California. And today I will have two guests again. One of them you very well know, Mr. Michael D'Souza, the Master Distiller from Paul John Whisky. And for the other one, we are going to London. And let's see who is here. Waiting for him. Everybody, I hope everyone's doing good. All right.
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Rather
Michael,
good evening to you.
or whatever the time is there. Yeah. So
San
this is
Francisco.
7 a.m.
Oh,
in San Francisco
is
right
it
now. Actually,
snowing
you can
there? No.
you can see a good view here. Nah, the last one I think
Can
was
you
in
believe?
1970
I mean,
sometime.
you slept
So
and woke up.
it's not
For me, I mean, I'm still working.
so nice. Well, we are having different experiences here. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you. And Boris is here, our friend from London. Sporty, rise and shine with liquid sunshine. I will just do that. Luckily, I had some
Mm-hmm.
good tea
Ah,
before
Hello,
this.
he's back.
everyone.
Yeah.
Good,
Good afternoon.
good
How are you
afternoon,
Hmm.
guys?
Boris.
Good, good. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm
Pretty good, pretty good.
good. Good to see you
Thank
too.
you.
It's been some time, right?
Yeah,
Three
been
weeks.
a
We
couple of months.
celebrated Diwali together, huh?
Do well together, of course.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Oh, nice. I don't know what the heck I was doing back then.
Nice
So,
to see you
nice
too.
to see you,
Yeah, it's
Boris,
been almost
after
one
such a
year,
long
right?
time. It's been almost one year we did it
Yeah,
again, and in person it's been
we have
forever.
to do this more actually.
Yeah. Uh, we have,
Yes.
yeah, probably I'll come to
Mm-hmm.
London at some point. But again, hi to everyone. We are in three different countries and literally three different continents. I'm joining from San Francisco, California. Barish is joining from London, UK, and Michael is at the distillery in Goa, India. So this is going to be a wonderful conversation. Sorry if I cannot speak sometimes. It's still 7 a.m. as I said,
7
and I'm gonna have my
a.m.
first
Whoa,
whiskey of the
it's
day.
quite early for you.
So
Sorry
yeah,
about that.
it is incredible. It's all right. It's all right. No worries. So, Barish, as you well know, the idea about 12 days of Christmas started 3 years ago with 24 days of Christmas. Since people are out in the world right now celebrating in person, we decided to make it 12 days this year and do it all around the world. But it's all about appreciating the passing year and welcoming the new year, as well as wishing the best for the Christmas and, of course, taste our new Christmas edition 2022. And today, honoring us, Mr. Michael D'Souza is here. I don't see him that often either, so this is a privilege for me too. But yeah, how was your year, Barish?
How was my year? It was quite good actually. And I have to say, last couple of weeks was a little bit hard for me. I was a little bit ill. I don't know, maybe you heard in London everyone is basically sick because of this influenza. I don't know. So this dram will be my first during this last couple of weeks. So I'm really
Mm-hmm.
excited. But it was a good year. It was a good year.
Wonderful.
Well, thinking about that, Michael is an alchemist and he's making the whiskey, so it should be working.
Mm.
Now, Michael, I asked that question to you again about the last year, but we had a successful
Mm-hmm.
year with our products and everything. And I did not have the chance to ask you this. We also release
Yes.
two
Yeah.
new gins, right?
So we did.
Can you, yeah, because I received this question after the live stream last night, so I
Uh,
had to ask you this. Can you
of
tell
course,
us
yeah.
more about the gins?
You know, traditionally, India, it's not a gin consuming country. So what happened is, over the past couple of years, 3, 4 years, there's a sudden surge of gin production. When I say gin, the proper gin. So in Goa alone, we have close to uh, 6 distilleries now producing gins. So for us, it is completing the portfolio. We have, everything from brandy to rum, gin, I mean, sorry, wines, whiskeys. The only thing we did not have was gin. So we just completed the portfolio. Having said that, yeah, it is, we got our stills from Germany. Um, from Mueller. The size of the pot is 500 liters. Out of that, we can produce close to 1,000 bottles of gin every batch. So as of now, we are doing single batch because the volume is just picking up. We have made two different expressions as of now. One is the classic London style, London dry gin style. The other one is citrus. Okay, so we few botanicals we imported from different parts of the world. For example, juniper we got it from Macedonia, orange peel, grapefruit, and lemon peel we got it from Morocco. Some of the elegant botanicals like lavender from the UK. We have imported Angelica root, orris root from UK as well. Then we, went and bought some unique Indian spices. India is known for spices, so we sourced our spice from Kerala. So yeah, I mean, so as of now we have two expressions. The third one would be spice. So
Amazing.
Awesome. I just found this meaningful because I know Barish likes gin a lot and he
Yeah,
likes his
I
Negronis
love.
too. And living
I'm
in
just
London,
waiting for my barrel-aged Negroni, actually. I'm gonna open it next week,
actually,
hopefully.
yeah. So I think we are planning for exports to the UK as well
Nice.
shortly.
Really excited. Should we expect a Christmas gin next year as well?
Next year, maybe, hopefully.
Perfect.
well, we'll do our best. Getting back to Christmas edition, as you know, Barish, last year we tasted the 2021 together. This year is going to be 2022 is going to be a little bit different. And this year we took use of three different styles of whiskey, and which Michael will get into shortly. But we wanted to share this with you too, and I would love to hear what you think about that after you taste it. But Michael, why don't you give us an introduction of what the Christmas edition
Yeah, sure.
2022 is all about?
I don't know how much the Barish knows about the tradition as in the release of Christmas editions. The tradition started in 2018 with the very first expressions of 2018 Christmas edition. So
That's the first one, huh?
yeah, this is the first one. Yeah. So
Amazing.
Yep.
Christmas edition is a small batch. It's not more than 7,000 bottles worldwide. Every Christmas edition will have at least three different expressions. So as you know, we don't have age statement. So we produce different expressions. So Christmas edition contains three different expressions at least. For 2018, I had used unpeated from ex-bourbon, peated from ex-bourbon, and unpeated finished in Oloroso casks. So then came the 2019. For 2019, instead of Oloroso, I had used Pedro Jimenez. Then 2020, I had used Virgin Oak. 2021, I had Portuguese wine cask. It had the mix of Tawny, Vintage, and Madeira cask. So this special, this time for 2022, I have used whiskey from unpeated from ex-bourbon, peated whiskey finished in Oloroso, and unpeated whiskey finished in brandy cask.
Sounds amazing.
And this is the first time we are using brandy casks, right?
We started bottling Paul John brandy as well, you know that. So once the cask was emptied, I had put the single malt in it. So so the 80% of the whiskey is unpeated, the 20% is peated.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Then let's crack it open
And
and
as
have
always,
some sips.
the box design is really nice, I have to say.
Yeah. So you have the
Uh,
big one, I have the small one since I'm traveling.
I tried to find the last year's bottle actually. I have the small one actually. I was keeping just a little for myself, but turns out I finished it, so I won't be able to do a comparison between these two bottles. But last
Mhm.
year's bottle was really nice.
It was a great one. This is fascinating. And it's always something like explaining this year was quite hard for me in the US because it's so many details. Like bourbon barrels finished in Paul John XO brandy cask. Then you have to explain what Paul John
Yeah,
XO
yeah,
brandy
sure.
is. Then that's
Exactly,
all another
exactly.
rabbit hole.
But it again, on the nose,
Yeah.
you have that Christmas feeling. Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of plum cake, Christmas cake, I would say. You have a lot of plum, dark chocolate, coffee mocha. It is citrusy. Uh, it's huge on honey. And also you have a lot of dry fruits like dry raisin, dry dates, dry figs.
I was expecting less peat actually, but
Hmm.
it's not, of course, quite peaty, but still you get this like burnt and like leathery notes on the notes.
Yes, you have it. Yes, slight. It's very subtle. The very reason I've used peat is to give the depth to the whiskey,
Cheers, guys.
and also it is making it slightly spicier. Yeah. Yes. So
Cheers.
the
Mm.
delivery is
It's
sweet and
it's
chocolatey.
sweeter at the palate, I think, right? Compared
Yeah,
to nose.
it is sweet. Yeah,
Oh, and
absolutely.
a little bit peppery at the end.
It's more spicy. Yes.
Juicy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it.
And I will put this. We had this tasting in San Francisco a couple days ago, and one of the attendees were saying this whiskey is overall very layered. We can feel
Hmm.
layers of flavors coming behind back to each other. I think that was a good comment because they were also able to taste the 19 and 21 next to 22. So that comment was really interesting. And of course, the coughing goes here too, Boris. So don't worry, it's not just UK. We also have a
Yeah, I'm
outbreak in
just
the
waiting
US too.
for it. It's really interesting, guys. I love it, I have to say. And what amazes me actually is a question for Michael actually. So each year you're just basically targeting Christmassy flavors, right? But
Yes.
each year to do that and preferring different casks must be really hard for you, right?
It is. I mean, because see, I mean, the very first year, uh, we launched a Christmas edition. It was surprisingly it was well received. Then, every year people started, waiting for different releases. It's quite, I mean, it's quite a pressure actually. It's not easy because uh, you have to have that similar character of
Yeah.
Christmas, but yet I have to be more innovative and you know uh, I have to continue that excitement. So
Mhm.
it's very important that I come out with newer casks, newer expressions, and newer whiskies in each and every edition.
I'm sure you must be trying lots of casks to do these trials, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's very exciting though.
Nice.
So just in general, Michael, how many different cast styles do we have at the distillery? Did you
We
ever count
have
it?
now we have close to six now. Of course, I mean majority of the cask is the ex-bourbon. Then we
Hmm.
have two Spanish wines, three Portuguese wines, and one Virgin oak. Apart from yeah. So
That's
I am
beautiful.
planning to get some rum casks now.
Mhm. I love rum casks.
Yeah.
Actually, We just had a whiskey
Mhm.
last night after our tasting
So I'm
in
also adding
Hungarian cat, so
muscatel.
that was pretty
So
interesting.
I thought for our,
Ah,
second fills, which is more elegant, muscatel will
hmm
complement wonderfully.
That's a good idea. Nice to try. Well, we'll see it
No,
next year
it's at
probably at
least
some point.
another 3 years,
Um, no, it's
coming
just
years,
next
yes.
next editions, I won't say. Sorry. And one of our fans just said he didn't try Christmas, but he's a big fan of Oloroso. Well, this Christmas edition
Mhm.
has some Oloroso in it, so
Oloroso, yeah.
it's gonna
The
remind you some.
This particular
Yeah.
Oloroso is a peated one, initially matured in ex-bourbon
hmm
for 5 years, then later transferred into Oloroso Hogshead um, for 2 years. Uh,
That's great. All right, Baris, so you moved to
Yeah,
UK, if I'm not wrong,
almost
2 years
2 years.
ago now.
Yes.
My God, it flies. Almost years. Time flies, and you have been concentrating more on whiskey. And how do you think the Indian whiskey, Indian single malt change is accepted appreciated in the UK
Well, I
market?
have to say,
What do you
of
think about
course, I mean, I think it's same for non-traditional countries like Japan, Taiwan, or India. Most of the traditional consumers think when they hear about Indian whiskey, they always give this first reaction and they say, "Oh, I never tried Indian whiskey," or "Is it good?" They always have this suspicion, and I always see once they try it, they always happy with it, satisfied with it actually, and it was the same case for me actually. Like I don't know when I first tasted the Paul John whiskey like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I was expecting really, really young whiskey, harsh whiskey, but for me now, Paul John is all about balance and this tropical flavors as well. So I quite enjoy it, and I think it's growing in UK market, and same for Turkey as well, by the way.
it? Yeah, so Turkey was a different journey. We first started, I think, again, more almost 2 years ago with our importer there. And it's interesting, Michael. So you are stuck between two Turkish people uh, today. But yeah, in Turkey, like whenever we send a product, it's almost sold out immediately, and that's also thanks to our importer,
mhm.
Mustafa. Turkish Whiskey Society is doing
But
a
it's
great
it's,
job
it's
with
really
that.
amazing. I mean, so you guys
And yeah,
so innovative about your expressions. So I think that's a good thing because I think nowadays most of the consumers just expecting different casks, finishes, different flavors, and you most definitely give that different flavors with these different editions.
Yeah. So because now people love cast finishes. I mean, I think people stopped drinking the traditional type of whiskeys. Whiskeys from
Yeah,
ex-bourbon casks. So people wait for those, the big bold whiskeys.
yeah, whiskey nerds like me especially, right? We always look for different ABV levels, different cask finishes, and
Absolutely,
everything. But yeah, that's
absolutely.
true.
yeah, so sometimes it's nice to reset everything and go back to, bourbon cask. Like that being said, one of our expressions, I don't know if you tried that, Barish, the Nirvana, which is our entry level
Yeah.
expression.
Hmm.
It's
Ah, perfect.
always a good
Love
daily
it.
choice.
So like I'm spoiled with all the whiskeys because like we have around 11 in the US, and whenever I do the tastings, they're always different whiskeys. And I was tasting Nirvana with a group, and I poured it in my glass, left it for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I came back to that whiskey and I was like, what the hell is this? Like this is amazing. Waiting for some time, open Nirvana so well, and you never expect a young
Yeah, it's
whiskey to
just a
behave like
three-year-old
that.
whiskey. Yeah.
And of course, and it's just good old,
Yeah, I mean,
primarily used bourbon barrels. So
instead of, it's substitute for blended whiskeys. Yeah, I would say. Uh,
yeah, it's like sometimes simple
yeah, why
gives
not? I
you
mean,
the best.
you can use
That's
it
what
for
I believe in
cocktails,
whiskey.
especially highball or old fashioned.
Oh, we
Yeah,
we are doing good job with the highballs. It's
so
it's
And
it's
old
amazing.
very,
fashioned as well.
And as we
Sorry.
are speaking, as we were just speaking about them. Turkish Whiskey Society is here too. So hi guys, thank you for all the help in Turkey.
So yeah, Nirvana is very
Sorry about
elegant
that,
on the nose.
guys.
It has got a lot of malt on the nose. It is citrusy. You have sweet lime. You have tropical fruity notes. You have green apple, apple pie, pineapple. Yeah.
It's quite
I always
citrusy, I have to say.
I always
Sorry, Koray.
appreciate
I'm
you,
just
Michael.
tasting Nirvana, and like you said, it's really malty,
Oh
citrus.
yeah.
It's quite fresh. Nothing
Hmm.
like, of course, Christmas edition, but still, it's really
Yeah.
vibrant, I have to
It's
say.
I always tell Nirvana it's like the basics of
yeah.
what we offer. It's like we got every flavor that we want to give it to you
Yeah.
in the most beautiful way. And also like the palate for a young whiskey like that. The
Yeah.
palate
And
is incredibly
also,
creamy.
since we use six-row barley, the tannin shows up, very nicely in Nirvana.
Hmm.
It's very tannic. It's making whiskey
Yeah.
more uh, powerful.
It's quite juicy as well.
And also now, yeah, nowadays when the whiskey prices are skyrocketing, Nirvana's price
Hmm.
is incredibly affordable when it comes to that level. Like for a whiskey at that quality, we are looking at $29 in the US. I think it's around 26,
Okay.
27
Uh-huh.
pounds in UK. I don't know the price in India. Sorry about
It's
that,
almost
Michael.
same price.
Yeah. So we are trying to keep that. But Michael, I was just telling that I appreciate what you're doing at the distillery with the whiskeys. Also, the brand team. It's not a one-man job, of course, creating a line. And with every other whiskey that we taste in Paul John Barish, we are seeing like, okay, we have Nirvana. Now double the intensity and have brilliance. And on brilliance, you add some peat. Then on edited, you had more peat and get the bold. Then you increase the ABV to classic and peated. And we have the wine finishes. So every other bottle brings out a new excitement, and that's why I always say that there is one or two bottles for each person in the universe from Paul John. They will love it, and because we are speaking to a spectrum of flavors, and that's not like irrelevant to each other. They carry common DNA, which is so important for a whiskey brand, in my opinion. But they also bring surprises, and Christmas edition has been one of them. What do you think, like tasting Nirvana and the Christmas edition next to each other? Do you see the
I mean, I think
similarities?
the texture has some similarities. I mean, in Paul John, I always have this juiciness. It's quite
Hmm.
syrup. I also like syrup. So I think the texture is a little bit similar, but of
Hmm.
course, in terms of flavor, they entirely different. You have this base tropical flavors maybe in Christmas edition, but you have more spices, definitely more spices in the Christmas edition, and that was the purpose, of course, for this edition. But yeah, I mean, Nirvana, I tried. I think that was the first expression I tried from Paul John, but it's been a while, so I'm sure after this live session, I will be sipping my Nirvana and saving maybe Christmas edition for the next week or this weekend. But I really like the Nirvana. And actually, I have one question for you guys, since I found you in the same time together. So we always talk about in Paul John the 6 row barley, and I'm
Hmm.
just curious about this. Uh, I mean, the saying is it gives some texture in the palate, the 6 row
Hmm.
barley, and
Hmm.
I'm just curious about the challenges about using this type of barley, and are there any players in the game from India or other countries that using the same type of barley?
I mean, most of the majority of I think everybody, we all use 6-row grain because that is the one predominantly available here. It's not that
Mhm.
we don't grow a 2-row, but the quality of 6-row is much, much better. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, we have, it depends, and because, every region is different. So especially Goa, we have a challenge because here the whiskey matures differently because we lose more alcohol and less water. This makes the flavor concentration very high.
Mhm.
So you know, since we bottle our whiskeys above 46%, we have to be very, very careful, because, small mistake, you would find a lot of sediments inside the bottle, because 6-row grain contains higher amount of protein, that. So, if it is below 45, then you would see whiskey getting hazier very fast, especially when the climate is very humid.
I see.
But those proteins also bring in a lot of flavors.
Yeah, it does.
Like proteins and like
that's
fatty
when
acids.
you were talking about the flavor profiles, I said, the Indian grain is smaller compared to 2-row, that is the European grain. This makes the husk content higher in Indian grain, because when the grain is smaller, the husk to grain ratio, the husk becomes the larger. So when I talk about husk contains tannins also. So tannins imparts additional flavor to the whiskey. So younger whiskeys, especially like Nirvana, you really feel it on your palate, and also on the nose. You will find that grainy aroma on the nose. So over a period of time, it gets more sweeter.
Thank you.
That's impressive. Also, Baris, to answer your question, some distilleries in India, they are using 6-row barley and 2-row barley combined for some of their whiskeys because they are trying to achieve a European style.
Only one, yeah.
In United States, okay, I was thinking about it. In the United States, we used to have 6-row barley production a lot for beer in the past. But since the yield of, both volume and ABV was lower, so they decided not to use that in the upcoming while. But also single malt revolution is happening in the United States. So some distilleries are considering and maybe even experimenting with 6-row barley right now. So because the idea is great, the flavors you're getting from 6-row barley is unique. It's all about the quality of barley at that point. And I think in the USA they still couldn't make it, but in India we have a really healthy amount of and healthy style of 6-row barley that we are using.
Thank you very much, guys.
You're welcome. By the way, anyone, if you have questions, please write it on the chat as Michael is here, or to Baris, because he's been so influential in the whiskey market, both in Turkey and UK right now. So please,
I have
if you
one question for both of you guys, and it's the hardest question for you. So, but I'm gonna narrow it down. So this is the 5th edition, right? 5th edition, 6th edition of Christmas edition.
Yeah, the 5th.
I'm sure all of them are amazing and special for you guys. But which one is your favorite so far?
I would leave this question to Koray to answer, maybe.
Thank you. I'll be political. No, I love all of them. I always find myself going back to 19 and tasting it whenever it's available. Whenever I see a bottle, it's a beautiful.
Yeah, because and for me again, all the whiskeys are different. Personally speaking, I'm a big fan. I like the whiskeys from ex-bourbon cask because I think that is the best form of single malt you would ever experience. So you have the elegancy of fruitiness, you get malt, the sweetness comes through. You can get everything. When whiskey becomes more bolder, then you would find for example, Oloroso. So the flavor of Oloroso would mask a lot of other flavors, that the single malt have, especially the maltiness. If you want to really experience a true character of a malt, then I think you should taste something from ex-bourbon cask. That is my personal opinion.
Lovely. Over the market, what I see is people are actually in love with 2022. Whoever tried it, there is a bunch of people on this live stream too, as our guests right now. I can see many of them who love 2018. And I'm sorry for them because it was the lowest produced Paul Jones Christmas edition ever. So it's not in the market. It's in the auctions if you ever find it. Please get me a bottle too.
I only tasted the last three,
So questions for
2000, the last year and the before that. So far it's hard to choose my favorite, but last year was really nice, I have to say, because I'm really fond of port casks. I also, of course, like bourbon cask as well, but I always fancy that juicy flavors that you get sweetness from the port cask. So last year's cask was really nice, and I like the peatiness, the spiciness of this year's bottle. So it's hard to choose, but yeah, I would like to taste them all like side by side, like the old bottles as well. But I'm sure they all have different strengths in flavor.
come to US, come
You
to
come
US
to
next year.
London. You
Every
can
year
come
I'm
to
doing
London.
like a vertical
It's
tasting.
easier.
We will definitely do something this year. Barish, one question to you, and this is like the most important question for me in this live stream. What is your wish for Christmas and New
Yeah,
Year?
I remember last year I was struggling to answer this question, but this year this will be
You're
easy for
ready.
me.
You're
Seriously,
ready.
this year all I wish is just being healthy, being just being healthy for my family, for my wife and everything. So being healthy is the most important thing, I think. Those last year, this last couple of years, with COVID and everything, it was crazy. So next year, hopefully, I will spend all my year healthy, and just enjoy my life. Sorry about the cliche answer,
Wonderful.
but yeah, that's my goal.
No, literally, I want to give the same
Yeah,
answer if anybody asks, because
Yeah.
that's what we all need, and especially for traveling people like Michael,
yeah,
me,
yeah.
and you also travel a lot, going back to Turkey and UK. We kind of need that. Uh, okay, a question came from Shanti. Favorite top three whiskey cocktails and which whiskeys? I will be leaving that
Uh,
question to Barish.
whiskey cocktail. I mean, I have to say this year was all about Negroni and Martini for me. But if you're asking whiskey cocktails, I will say good old fashioned is always a good idea. And my second choice, I can say maybe Manhattan, similar to Negroni.
Hmm.
And in this cocktails, I always go for try different whiskeys actually, because they mostly using bourbon and rye in the original recipes, but I always try to spice things up and try different whiskeys, single malt and everything. And I can't remember the exact recipe, but it was like a twist for old fashioned. We tasted together actually with Michael in the Paul John tasting. It was the
Yeah.
final cocktail. It was
hmm
it was like old fashioned, but also like coffee flavored. It was really strong. It paired really well with the dessert as well. So it was one of the best actually I tasted this year.
Then I'm gonna reframe that question to Michael.
Yeah,
Michael,
it
what
is.
was
I
that
mean, yeah.
cocktail
I
and
mean,
what's your favorite?
for me, Manhattan is the one. I mean, so I'm not a big cocktail fan, but if I'm having something, I have from Manhattan because, I love bourbons and rye whiskey, so
Hmm.
I love that.
That's lovely.
Nice.
Personally, I prefer whiskey sour. I am not an old-fashioned fan at all. I like my whiskey. If I'm drinking whiskey, I like my whiskey
hmm
neat without ice or
Yeah.
sugar. That's what I
Yeah.
prefer. So that's why I don't like it very much. Celine has a question to Barish. Where can we find the best Negroni
Oh,
in London? Because I
okay.
think she just
I
moved to
mean,
London.
it's hard to say the best of anything actually, but personally, I think the one of the best, not the best, but one of the best is in Soho. It's called Bar Termini. It's like a small Italian cocktail bar. They mostly specialize in Negronis actually. They have four or five different Negronis. One is the classic one, the other one is a little bit more spicy, the other one is more herbal. So I think that's the place that you definitely have to go and try all of their Negronis.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for the answer. All right, there's no other questions. Barish,
Uh,
do you have any more questions to us
um,
or to
Actually,
Michael as
no.
a final?
I ask all of my nerdy questions as well, so I'm just wishing you all the best for the next year, and thank you very much
Perfect.
for this amazing whiskey. And I didn't know actually you're gonna release some gins as well from the distillery, so I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna try some
hmm
Negronis
Yeah,
with your gins as well.
since you like Negroni, I think I should be sending you some samples
Ah,
of gin.
perfect.
Yeah.
That
So
was the
yeah,
answer I was
serious.
looking for, actually. Thank
Samples.
thank you,
Yeah.
Perfect.
guys.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to drink whiskey with you as the first thing in the morning. I love it. And Michael, thank you for joining us. It's been 12 hours that I haven't seen you, so seeing you twice in a day is a
Nice
pleasure.
to see
Boris,
you.
it was so nice to see you. I'm glad that you enjoyed the Christmas edition 2022, and hopefully we'll be back next year doing this again with 2023 or any other
Yes.
expressions we bring in, because right now in digital work, it's been really easy to do this,
Yes.
and we are having so much fun. But thank you for everyone who joined us. You will find the Christmas edition 12 Days of Christmas with Paul John Whiskey on YouTube too, if you want. Christmas edition 2022 is in most of our metro and biggest markets. I can say the price in US is $85 on SRP. Should be something similar in UK, thanks to the exchange rate. I'm loving it right now. And I hope to see you gentlemen next year, hopefully in
Yes.
UK or in US
Yeah.
at some
It will be
point.
good.
Maybe
Turkey.
even in
Yeah.
Turkey. We'll see.
I never been to Turkey. Yeah.
Let's go to Turkey. Okay, Mustafa, if you're hearing, we want to come to Turkey next year. Please arrange
Thank you very
it.
much, guys.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen.
Cheers and happy
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Merry Christmas,
Are we
guys.
Michael,
meeting
do
again
you have
tomorrow?
anything to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I
Okay.
gotta double check.
Sure.
Yeah, I gotta check the hour.
Okay,
I'm
I
sure we
can
are
in
busy,
that
but I
in
gotta
that
check
case
the
I
hour.
can I
All right.
I wish Baris a very very happy Christmas. You have a wonderful New Year as well. Look forward to catch up soon somewhere
Definitely, Michael. Likewise.
and keep healthy. Stay safe.
Happy New Year, guys. Cheers,
Wishing
guys.
health to
Take care.
everyone in the world. Take care,
Cheers.
guys.
Bye.